Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am back with another Ankh Gods of Egypt Guardian, but this time I'm painting both of them, and this is Bess, and one is painted with, or primed with Grey Seer, and the other one is primed with Barbarian Flesh, because I'm going to be doing contrast colors and Citadel paints versus Army Painter paints to try and get it the closest possible to the artwork. Now, the Bess has a very orange skin tone, and I didn't want to use like Gryph-hound orange on his skin. I think that would have been too much, but maybe if I would have put it on top of this Seraphim Sepia. So this is the first time I'm using this shade, and I gotta say it goes on really well. It gets on into the details because I wanted to have, I thought this was gonna be more orangey reddish, so I was wrong a bit with that. And then the next contrast I'm gonna put on this, I'm hoping that it gets to that point as well, but again, it's tough. So the Barbarian Flesh already has a base tone of an orangey color, so I just went ahead and put a strong skin tone wash on it, realizing after this is very dark. These specific skin tone washes, even though it's a strong, dark, and soft, even a soft one kind of makes it a little bit darker, and anyways, but it gets into the nooks and crannies really well. I won't have to do too much more layering on this one, but I do anyways later on, but you'll see what I do with that. So we come back to the one with the Grey Seer, and we're looking at Fire Slayer Flesh. So this is because I thought Fire Slayer Flesh had more red in it, so maybe more orange. It gives them more like a burnt tan, a really toasty tan. But again, the contrast paints work really well with this Grey Seer because it's meant for that. Like, this is the paint, it makes it cooler as a color that goes on. Now there isn't much to paint on this miniature, so which is kind of fun. So this is where it really can show which paints do come out a little bit better. So I want to know in the comments at the end or anytime which version you seem to be liking. Now you can see the base, one of them is gray, so it shows always the Grey Seer, and the other one is Barbarian Flesh. So this is a side-by-side comparison of what they look like. As you can see, the one on the right had a little bit more of the orange tone that I wanted. Now we're using a little bit of orc flesh on his tunic, or whatever you want to call this, I don't even know, robe, whatever. I never remember how to call those things. And I use a little bit of goblin green, which is kind of funny, orc flesh, goblin green, to get this bright, because it's a very bright green kind of, but as you can see, the contrast with the Grey Seer already does your highlights, whereas this one, of course, the paint just goes over it, and I have to add a wash later just to give it a little bit more depth to it as well. And I could use a lighter green to do the shadowing, of course. Now we're going to use some Black Templar for the Grey Seer model on the beard and the hair. And I forgot to do his eyebrows, but I fixed that after because I noticed while I was painting the black part from the Army Painter paints that I forgot to do his eyebrows, so I got those done there. Hey, I hope you like these comparison videos between contrast and regular pour paints or regular acrylic paints. Again, you can see here the contrast with the Grey Seer is that the gray comes out a little bit underneath. We're going to use a little bit of matte black now on the Barbarian Flesh miniature. As you can see, this goes on a lot darker. It's there's no highlight to it. Yes, I could have highlighted again. I just want to go like really basic comparison, like black versus black. Not try and do too many highlights, but in the end I want you to see which one you think came out better looking. Hey, and if you're new to the channel, why don't you hit that subscribe button. You'll also be notified when you hit that notification bell when new videos come out. These Guardians are taking me a little bit longer to paint and work on, so the videos are taking me a little bit longer to come out as well, but be patient, they will come up. And I did mention before, if you guys are sick of seeing these Guardians being painted, just let me know down in the comments. But if you like it, just keep hitting that like button and I'll keep doing them, because I love making my videos and I love painting these miniatures. They are very intimidating miniatures in this board game, and I can't wait to get my hands on starting to paint the gods and their warriors. That's going to be very challenging. So here I'm using that military shader on the goblin green just to give it more depth. Alright, now this is a brand new base paint that I've used because I keep saying I have no silver or gold from Citadel, so I decided to buy some lead belcher, this retributor armor, a layer of, I don't even know what the other gold color is. I want to try it. Now I have to say, right out of the bottle, I loved this retributor armor. Loved it. It is so nice to work with. It is thick, so be careful with that. Do not put too much on your brush, just on the tip, and just go slightly over where you want to put the gold. It's just beautiful. Beautiful paint. It covers so well. Some of the Army Painter paints I've noticed I've had a hard time with is that they seem to just go on like a shiny effect instead of the gold color. Except for the one I'm going to be using here, I had to shake it up so much just to get the consistency that I wanted on this one. But as you can see with the jewelry, even though he's very dark skin, the gold still comes out very nicely. You still see all of the details on his belt. It's not deep at all. Like, it doesn't cover, or it doesn't over cover, you know what I mean? Like some paints in there, I hit the arm a bit there, and it's gonna be a little hard to touch up this miniature if you do make a mistake because of the skin coloring and all that. So now I'm using bright gold from the Army Painter, and as you can, right away you can see the difference. This is more yellow, and you can almost not tell the difference at first, but then once it starts drying, you start seeing it more pop on top of this orangey flesh of his. And but it comes out pretty nice in comparison. And it was actually kind of funny because I asked some of my family members to see which one they liked the most, and some didn't notice any difference at all, and another one, my wife actually said that one of them, the muscle tones came out more, and the colors on the other one came out more vibrant. So she said if she would have mixed those two together, it would probably look super good as a miniature. Yeah, so we're just gonna finish off with this gold here. As always, the gold is always longer to do on these miniatures because they're just so detailed and so almost everywhere on the miniature. Alright, now we're going to use some Creed camo just on the bottom part of his head dressing, and then we're going to use some Pterodon turquoise for the top part. Now, I was hoping for a little bit lighter. Actually, I should have maybe put some contrast medium in these ones just so that the Grey Seer would come out more, but this is where the flashiness comes out with the snake scales and the royal cloak. Now, as you can see, this is much brighter, much lighter, and this is what the card effect or the card art looked more like, because the contrast ones came out very dark, which I was kind of surprised by actually. And so this is where one part would be really nice on another miniature. Anyway, so now I'm doing the alien purple to finish off these feathers. It looked like they had peacock feathers on the top, so I decided to do these little dots here. And I'm going to do the same thing with the contrast. So I'm going to use some Shyish purple, but as you can see, it's so dark that it barely shows. And then I use a blue tone on top of the entire headdress. And as you can see, again, the tone removes some of that green. Anyways, I'll get to this in a second, but some Spirit Stone red to do the like red metallic parts instead of using a red metallic paint, because I am using Citadel paints only, so I don't think they have really any colored metallics. They use these ones instead. Then I'm going to use some Soul Stone blue on certain areas as well, and finish off the gems with some Waystone green. That was just like a little part on his belt, these little dots here and there. Alright, now we're going to move on to the metallics parts of the Army Painter using gemstone for the exact same pieces. So I'm not, not doing anything different on each miniature. Some Azure Magic on certain areas again, and then finishing off with some glitter green on those little dots on his belt. Of course, you can see they're super shiny. Alright, now I just picked up this as well. It's a dry paint from Citadel. It's called Ryza Rust. It's very orange, bright orange, but somehow when you put it on this miniature, it just covers just a little bit, because you're doing a dry brush, right, which you don't have a ton of paint on your brush in the first place, because I just wanted some orangey tone to his skin as well. And funny enough, Army Painter has dry rust, which is an effects paint, a little bit more liquid, but man, whenever you put that on skin, it seems to come out really nice. I've used this before in other things, but I was surprised how well this skin came out, like more orangey. And this is going to finish off that miniature. So here you go, they are side by side. Which one do you like more? Do you like some parts of the contrast? Do you like more some parts of the acrylic paints? Which skin came out better? Yeah, I want to hear your comments. Please comment down below and hit that like button, sorry, and like this video. Anyways, I want to thank you guys all for watching. I'm so glad for all the support you've given me with all my videos, and I hope to continue doing these for you. I want to thank you again, and we'll catch you all in the next one.